Imagine a car that never needs charging, a vehicle that powers itself, silently defying the rules of energy and rewriting the future of transportation. Glow showing Europe, Africa has unveiled just that, a self-powered electric vehicle, and the world is in shock. But here's the twist. Russia, with its vast energy empire and global ambitions, now wants in on Africa's groundbreaking revolution. What could this unlikely partnership mean for the future of cars, technology, and geopolitics? Buckle up, because this is a story that could reshape the global auto industry forever. Automobile, high voltage. In a continent often underestimated by the West, Africa has done the impossible. Engineers and visionaries have developed a car that generates its own power, eliminating the need for charging stations, fossil fuels, or even massive battery swaps. This isn't just an electric car, it's a self-sustaining machine. A bold answer to the world's dependency on oil and lithium. Imagine a city where cars never plug in, rural areas with no charging infrastructure suddenly driving into the future, and entire economies freed from fuel imports. That's the promise now echoing from Africa to every corner of the globe. While automakers in the US, Europe, and Asia scramble to protect their turf, Russia has made a surprising move. Why Russia? On the surface, it seems ironic, a nation whose economy is built on oil and gas. But look deeper, and the strategy becomes clear. Russia sees Africa's invention not just as a car, but as a geopolitical weapon, a way to challenge Western dominance, strengthen ties with African nations, and even pivot its economy toward the next wave of technology. Moscow isn't just impressed, it's ready to invest, produce, and scale Africa's self-powered EVs for global distribution. A partnership that could shake the pillars of the world's auto industry. If Africa and Russia succeed, the balance of power in transportation could shift overnight. Tesla's superchargers? Outdated. Toyota's hybrids? Yesterday's news. Oil giants? Facing extinction. For Africa, this is a moment of technological pride, a chance to lead the world instead of following. For Russia, it's a strategic lifeline in an age where fossil fuels are fading. And for the rest of us? It's the dawn of a new automotive race, one not powered by oil or lithium, but by ingenuity and bold vision. So, here's the burning question. Will Africa and Russia together usher in the most radical shift in car technology since the invention of the engine itself? Or will global powers fight to suppress this breakthrough before it spreads? As Africa and Russia strengthen their alliance, a quiet panic spreads through Western boardrooms. In Silicon Valley, whispers grow louder. What happens if Tesla loses its grip on innovation? In Detroit, legacy automakers fear that Africa's leap could wipe out billions in investments on EV infrastructure. And in Europe, where strict emission rules force consumers into expensive EVs, the thought of a self-powered car sparks both excitement and dread. Because if this technology scales, it won't just disrupt markets. It will render entire industries obsolete. Charging station companies, battery suppliers, even oil exporters, all could collapse in a matter of years. But behind the innovation lies a deeper game. Africa's self-powered EV is more than a car, it's a political weapon. Russia knows this. By partnering with Africa, Moscow not only gains access to groundbreaking technology, but also strengthens its influence across the continent. At a time when Western sanctions squeeze Russia's economy, this alliance is a powerful counterstrike. And for Africa, partnering with Russia signals independence from Western control. For decades, Africa supplied the raw materials, oil, cobalt, lithium, while others built the products. Now, Africa is building the future itself and choosing its own allies. This is not just an automotive revolution. It's a global realignment of power. But let's pause for a moment. Is this too good to be true? Experts warn that scaling a self-powered EV will face enormous challenges. Can the technology handle mass production? Will Western patents and lawsuits try to bury it? And perhaps most importantly, will the oil giants of the world allow it to succeed? Because history shows us one thing: disruptive technology rarely rises without resistance. From suppressed inventions in the past to corporate monopolies protecting their empires, Africa's EV faces a battle far bigger than the factory floor. And Russia's involvement? It guarantees that this fight won't stay in the shadows. It will play out on the global stage. So, where does this leave us? The world stands at a crossroads. Africa has the innovation. Russia has the resources and the will to scale it. The West has the fear and the power to push back. If Africa's self-powered EV survives the challenges ahead, we could witness the most dramatic shift in technology and geopolitics since the dawn of the oil age. But if it fails, it won't just be a lost car, it will be a lost chance for humanity to break free from the chains of fuel dependency. In Beijing, leaders are watching closely. China, already the world's EV manufacturing giant, knows Africa's self-powered EV threatens to overturn the empire it built on batteries and rare earths. For years, China dominated lithium supply chains, built charging networks, and turned EV production into a national priority. But if cars no longer need charging or massive lithium batteries, China's empire risks collapsing overnight. So, what does Beijing do? It doesn't panic. It strategizes. Instead of openly opposing Africa's invention, China quietly makes offers, partnerships, investments, and promises of massive production facilities. The message is clear. If Africa's car must rise, let it rise through Chinese factories. Because in this game, control doesn't always come from invention. It comes from who manufactures the future. Meanwhile, in Washington, the story plays differently. The U.S., home to Tesla and Silicon Valley's tech dreams, cannot afford to lose dominance in the automotive future. Behind closed doors, think tanks warn of a nightmare scenario: Russia and Africa together becoming the new leaders of green tech. If that happens, U.S. influence in both Africa and the global EV market could vanish. So America's response isn't just competition, it's containment. Lobbyists push for stricter patent protections. Intelligence networks quietly track the scientists behind Africa's car. And whispers suggest that major oil corporations are funding campaigns to discredit the technology, painting it as unstable or unrealistic. Because when innovation threatens billion-dollar empires, the battle doesn't always happen in the open. And then there's Europe, caught in the middle. With strict climate policies and heavy investments in EV charging networks, Europe faces a painful choice. If Africa's self-powered car succeeds, Europe's trillion-dollar green transition could look outdated overnight. Yet, ignoring Africa's breakthrough would be political suicide. Citizens demand affordable, sustainable solutions, and nothing is more affordable than a car that never needs fuel or charging. So Europe hesitates. Some nations push for alliances with Africa to secure early access. Others, fearing Russia's involvement, resist. The result? Division. And while Europe argues, Africa and Russia move faster. The stage is set. Africa, with Russia at its side, holds the key to a technology that could reshape the world. China maneuvers to control production. America works in the shadows to contain it. Europe hesitates, torn between fear and necessity. And in the middle of it all, ordinary people, drivers, families, dreamers, are waiting for the future they've been promised. A future where the car in their driveway doesn't cost them a fortune in gas or electricity. A future that may now depend on who wins this silent war. Because make no mistake, this is no longer just about cars. It's about who controls the future of energy, technology, and global power. As Africa's self-powered EV gains momentum, forces determined to stop it grow bolder. Suddenly, reports surface of cyber attacks targeting African research labs. Blueprints mysteriously leak online, sparking rumors of industrial espionage. Some prototypes vanish in transit, while others are found tampered with. Engineers whisper that someone is trying to sabotage the project from within. But who's behind it? Fingers point in every direction. Western intelligence agencies, oil corporations fearing extinction, even rival automakers desperate to buy time. One thing is clear. The invention has triggered not just competition, but a silent war for control. African leaders refuse to be intimidated. Instead of slowing down, they accelerate. In a historic announcement, a coalition of African nations declares the creation of the Pan-African Innovation Alliance, a pact to protect and scale the self-powered EV. With Russia providing security and advanced manufacturing support, Africa begins setting up secret facilities, locations undisclosed, to prevent sabotage. But Africa doesn't stop there. It turns to blockchain technology, ensuring that every blueprint and patent is encrypted, making theft nearly impossible. For the first time, Africa isn't just innovating, it's outsmarting the world's most powerful players. Meanwhile, oil giants are far from defeated. Billions of dollars and decades of global dominance are at stake. Secret lobbying intensifies. Media outlets begin releasing reports questioning the safety of the self-powered EV. Paid experts flood talk shows, claiming the technology could be unstable, even dangerous. Behind the scenes, deals are made to flood the market with cheaper oil, hoping to delay the world's urgency to adopt the new cars. For oil barons, survival means one thing: discredit the revolution before it spreads. But something unexpected happens. Instead of being scared, ordinary people rally behind Africa's invention. Videos of the self-powered EV go viral, families driving hundreds of miles without charging, taxis running day and night with no fuel stops. Young Africans flood social media with pride, declaring, "This is our time." And beyond Africa, the world takes notice. From Brazil to India, from Europe to the Middle East, citizens demand access to a car that frees them from fuel costs and charging lines. Suddenly, this is no longer just a technological breakthrough. It's a people's movement, a revolution powered not by oil or electricity, but by hope. As pressure mounts, the world braces for a showdown. Africa and Russia prepare to launch mass production, unveiling the first self-powered EV factories in secret but heavily guarded sites. China, sensing it may be left behind, makes a shocking offer to co-produce the cars at scale in its megafactories, but only if Africa agrees to share control of the technology. It's a tempting deal, instant global distribution, but at the risk of surrendering independence. Meanwhile, the US and Europe intensify their campaigns, threatening sanctions, trade restrictions, and intellectual property lawsuits. The battle for the future of transportation reaches its boiling point. In a historic summit, African leaders stand firm. They announce that production will remain under African control, with Russia as a key partner, but partnerships with other nations will be welcomed, as long as Africa keeps ownership of the technology. This declaration sends shockwaves worldwide. For the first time in modern history, Africa isn't just supplying raw materials, it is supplying the future. The first fleets of self-powered EVs hit the roads. Taxis in Lagos. Delivery vans in Moscow. Family cars in Johannesburg. The world watches in awe as vehicles run endlessly, clean, quiet, and free from charging stations or oil pumps. Oil prices plummet. Charging networks lose relevance. Traditional automakers scramble to reinvent themselves. And a new era begins, not led by Detroit, Tokyo, or Berlin, but by Africa. From the streets of Nairobi to the highways of New York, people realize the truth. The future of transportation was never about who had the biggest factories or deepest pockets. It was about who had the courage to break the rules and imagine the impossible. So, as the dust settles, one thing is undeniable. Africa's self-powered EV has changed everything. Russia may have wanted in, China may have maneuvered, and the West may have resisted, but history will remember this as the moment when Africa didn't just join the race, it rewrote it. And the world? It will never look at cars or Africa the same way again. Ziautotech, where innovation meets the road. The future of mobility starts here. Only on Ziautotech. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating stories about Elon Musk, Maxwell, Tesla, and the future of innovation. Until next time, keep imagining the impossible.